be done. So if you will join me in prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you, God, for right now, for what is going to be done. We thank you, Father, and ask that you cover it with your power. Lord, thank you for your permission to do what needs to be done in the earth so that heaven can come down and do what heaven needs to be done through us. God, we thank you for every leader, every person on the panel this evening, God. We thank you for the wisdom and the knowledge that they bring to move us forward. Thank you, God, we shall not go backwards but forward. Thank you for our bishop, the man, the angel of this house, oh God, who has so lovingly allowed it to come to pass here. We thank you, God, for everything that will be said and done so that we can carry out the assignment that will be given to us, oh Heavenly Father. And we will see change made, God, because we believe change will happen when we know better, oh Heavenly Father, then we will act on what we know. God, we thank you now, and we will leave better from when this point, oh God, than when we came. We thank you now, Lord, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Shay Wyrick Cathy. I'm the Vice Chair of the Texas Democratic Party, and it is my pleasure to be here with you tonight for this community conversation. I come to you in this space as the highest ranking African American in the Texas Democratic Party. Thank you. And the highest ranking woman in the Texas Democratic Party. Thank you, thank you. And I'm happy to say that the second highest ranking African American is here with me tonight, our treasurer, Otis Evagaru. Otis, hello. So just so you know, you have allies and comrades with you fighting this battle. So we are so excited to be here with you tonight. Happy Black History Month, y'all, right? Happy Black History Month. I'm so excited for this conversation sponsored by the NAACP and the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. The TLBC is very near and dear to my heart. 30 years ago, my first job out of college was with the Senate Black Legislative Caucus with Senator Royce West and Senator Rodney Ellis. So I understand what this work is that they do, and I'm so glad that they are coming back from fighting the good fight in Austin to come back to their respective communities to tell you what they are doing and why it is important that you send them back with allies and people who share our values, who share what we need to accomplish in our communities. This conversation is so important tonight. And as you all know, we have a very important election coming up. A very important election coming up. This is the most important election of our lifetime. And we keep saying it because every election is the most important election of our lifetime. And while the posters may say the primary begins on Tuesday, March 3rd, I want to tell you the primary begins on Tuesday, February 17th. Early voting starts on Tuesday, and we cannot miss the opportunity to vote on Tuesday. So I have a quick challenge for you. I need you to know where you are voting. Your county has to list the early voting locations on their website, and they may be different than where they were 2 years ago because it depends on who's on your commissioner's court. So you need to know where you are voting when early voting starts. You also need to know what time, when you are voting, because the voting times they're different across counties. Some of y'all are in Fort Bend, some of you are in Harris, some of you are in other counties. So don't call your friend to say, where are you voting? Because they may be in a different county. So it's important to know where you're voting, when you're voting, and then y'all, you gotta know who we're voting for. These candidates have proven track records. You can go and look to see how they have voted in the House, how they have voted on the City Council, how they have voted on Commissioner's Court. We need to know where we're voting, when we're voting, and who we are voting for. It is important that we send the best candidates to go and fight for us. Democracy works best when more people participate. And when we have higher turnout, it always turns in the favor of folks who look like us. Right? The more people get out, the more we get the benefit. So I need you to know where you're voting, when you're voting, and who you are voting for. Again, I'm so happy to be here. I drove in from Dallas just for this tonight. We are doing a turnaround trip. So my husband and my twin sons are with me. We left from church and drove on the road, and we're driving back tonight. But when I had the opportunity to come and be with you, I had to come and take it to say thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and giving those questions. And it's my honor to bring up State Representative Lauren Ashley Simmons. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Shane. Thank you for making that drive from Dallas. Hey, y'all. Okay, so I'm here to give the purpose, but I think we all know why we're here. We're here to work, right? We got to get to work. So like she said, I'm State Representative Lauren Ashley Simmons. Thank you. I represent House District 146, way on the other side of town, but it is a pleasure to be here with y'all today. Listen, this is a day that the Lord has made. We need to rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you, Pastor, for letting us and allowing us to congregate here today to do the necessary work for our communities. And I want to thank my esteemed colleagues for being here as well, for being joyful warriors and good troublemakers. This feels real old school. This makes me think about the stories I hear from my elders about the civil rights movement and where we were congregating in barbershops and beauty salons and churches and funeral homes and anywhere where we could peacefully gather and talk about what we need to do to uplift our communities. And, you know, I hate that we have to do this again, but I'm glad that we have the ancestral memory of how to do it. Unfortunately, history tends to repeat itself, and we find ourselves drawing on what we've done before to figure out how do we not go backwards. We are not in normal times, and I want to reiterate, we are not in normal times. We have been dealing with this for decades. We talked about Project 2025, but here in Texas, that was Project 1993. This is nothing new. In a country where the president can lie, send his militia to kill citizens in the streets, and threaten the integrity of our elections, it is up to us to stand up to tyranny. Closer to home, what happens here in Texas doesn't stay here in Texas, and we learned that when we broke quorum. We took a local issue that was going to impact primarily just us and nationalized it and made it a conversation for everyone to talk about. We did that. What happens in the South matters. And how Texas goes, so goes the nation. We have to be defenders of democracy because the guardrails are being tested. However, we were prepared for such a time as this. And I'm thankful that I'm not alone in this fight because I have y'all. We have elections right around the corner, as Shay mentioned. And we have to do the work to get our people to the ballot box, but we have to remain vigilant after that because that's when the real work begins. I'm so excited, and I want to thank you, my colleague, my freshman colleague, for having the forethought to do this. Please, y'all give her a round of applause. This conversation is necessary and much needed for our community. This fight is for our future, and we are the ones we have been waiting for. I know I'm preaching to the choir today, but what I need y'all to do is go talk to 5 friends and tell them what was learned here. 5 friends. Look in your phone. It don't have to be friends. It could be that lady you can't stand at the nail salon. But make sure she knows what's at stake and what's at risk. And with that being said, let's get this program started, y'all. We got a lot of work to do. Thank you so much.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. You know, my goal, first of all, I'm Barbara Gervin Hawkins, and I'm state representative out of District 120 from San Antonio, Texas. So you got San Antonio, you got Dallas, and Houston. I call that the triple threat. And so when the triple threat gets together, that means things are really going to happen, okay? My goal tonight is to make sure y'all leave here with more information than when you came. I want to say this. America is in trouble. It's in trouble. Democracy is on the line. That's for real. That's not hyperbole or any of that. And there's a goal to try to take us back. And as our vice president said, we ain't going back. We ain't going back. We can't go back. It's too many or too much of blood, sweat, and tears from our ancestors to go back and to allow white nationalism and fascism to raise its ugly head and dominate us. So what I'm hopeful of is that as we talk tonight as a family about what we need to do and how we can beat this devil and truly silence him and his minions in a way that he'll know, don't mess with us. Don't mess with us. Okay? Don't mess with us. All right? That's a fact. Okay? So I want to start by introducing our panel. Y'all have heard their names already. I'm going to bring up, first of all, I got to bring up the shepherd of this house because, you know, he may not, I'm going to say this. I was thinking, Bishop Dixon, you ain't an elected official, but you are a politician, man. Okay? You know, when I see Bishop Dixon in action, I'm like, wait a minute now. Your politics is a little different, which is good, okay? Because it brings that spirituality. And what has kept us strong through all these years? The strength of our faith. The strength of our faith. What has kept our forefathers and mothers strong? The strength of our faith. Just think where we would be without our faith. Okay? So when I'm in the house of someone who's not an elected official, I ain't seen his name on no ballot, okay? But every day he walks the walk and talks the talk. Come on up here, Bishop Dixon. Yes. Yes. Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. Then I'd like to bring up one of our, what we call our veteran reps, Representative Ron Reynolds. Come on up here, Ron. All I can tell y'all is this. Representative Reynolds is one of the sharpest dudes on the House floor, y'all. Okay. Who has served, what is it, Representative Reynolds, now about 16 years? About 16 years in the House. Then we've got Representative Charlene Ward, who's our freshman. And then Representative Simmons, who's our freshman. Come on up here, Rep. Simmons. So what I wanted to make sure was y'all had little veterans here, little freshmen here, and then our biggest bloodline, which is our spiritual strength, and how we bring those together. Because I know many of you have heard the deal, separation of church and state. Y'all have heard that. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that and where we at. But what I also want to do is just highlight any elected officials in the room. Just stand up. I ain't going to let you speak. But just stand up, recognize you. All right. Oh, Representative Gina Hinojosa, running for governor. Running for governor. Running for governor. She said, I'm going to take on the biggest giant at the Texas, in the Texas, and that's the governor. So if you're here in the end, we'll let you say a few words. Okay? All right, let's get down to business. All right? Yeah. No, right. Okay, now, Bishop, this my show, bruh. I'd like to start with Representative Reynolds. Reynolds, talk to our folks this evening about the state of play right now. Okay?
Wow. First of all, good evening, everyone. It is definitely a pleasure to be on such an esteemed panel. I want to thank our chairwoman for having the vision to host this event. Give it up for Chairwoman Barbara Gervin Hawkins, all the way from San Antonio. And certainly Bishop Dixon, our shepherd, leader, preacher, for always hosting such amazing events. And most importantly, you. I know there's so many places you could have been on a Sunday, but you're here. So to answer the question, we're living in some real precarious times. I'm a student of history. I obviously wasn't around during the movement. This is the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. Obviously, I wasn't around. That's right, yeah. I was not around through a lot of the struggles of the country, slavery, Jim Crow, convict leasing, right? There have been so many different challenges that we've had. Well, we thought that we had overcome a lot of it from the good trouble of our ancestors whose shoulders we stand on, because we had the passage of the Voting Rights Act of '65 that ended, how many bubbles in the bar are sold poll taxes and literacy tests. We thought we had arrived when we had Barack Obama as elected in 2008. Then ushered in the Tea Party. Then ushered in these MAGA extremists that want to take us back. So we are living in some very difficult, challenging times. This is the civil rights of our generation because they're literally trying to peel back voting rights, women's reproductive rights, ending diversity, equity, and inclusion. They want to erase books that teach about these things from the schools through this nonsense of critical race theory, so you can't even teach it about slavery and Jim Crow and convict leasing anymore. So what we are in right now is, I would say, Jim Crow 2.0. We're in some real dark days where if we're not careful, a lot of the progress that was made is just a flicker away from being totally wiped out. And this is not hyperbole. This is not to scare anyone. This is not a drill. This is real. Because if they win again in 2026, God help us. I'm a man of faith, and my faith teaches me to whom much is given, much is required. All of us have a responsibility, but let me just say this quickly. This, I think, if we don't all do our part, because so many people are sitting back, Chairwoman, waiting for a savior, waiting for someone else to come, another Martin Luther King, another Rosa Parks, another Malcolm X. We the change that we need to see. Ain't no saviors coming. So this is the fierce urgency of now.
Thank you for that, Representative Reynolds. Bishop Dixon, talk to us about the church's role in this, okay? Because, I talk to about 40 preachers probably every other week. And, there's concerns. And we have to legitimize that. We can't say, don't be, right? Talk to us about how we get our brothers who are leading our churches to understand their role in this.
Thank you, Chairwoman, so very much again. And I don't want to, the protocol has been established. All of us here, we're grateful for it. So that we can stick to the topic. I am so humbled that you've come today and that we're assembled here. I think, and we're in a church. The black church has historically been the citadel for black community empowerment. Enlightenment, empowerment, and engagement. Empowerment, enlightenment, and engagement. And I want you to say those things. Empowerment, enlightenment, and engagement. Which means, empowerment means that black church has been what we discovered and were reminded of the power we possess, right? You talk about our faith, reminding us that we are of the lineage of the children of Israel who crossed the Red Sea, the lineage of those who crossed the Jordan and took the promised land, right? That's our heritage and our faith and the power within us. And we talk about power a lot on Sundays, but then we don't do power Monday through Friday, right? And so the black church is here to enlighten people, inform us about our power, our collective power. And then to enlighten us means education, where we come because we're not going to get properly educated outside. We have to have, the black church has been an education center and then a center for engagement, right? Which means that we come here to the black church for our plan of action. We leave the church to go do something. Like next Sunday, we're doing Souls to the Polls. Now, right? And
that's good. That's good.
It's not just for the community of faith church. We're organizing with organizations throughout our community, black businesses, elected officials. The county clerk is coming. A bunch of people are going to come. But imagine if all 4,000 churches are doing something.
Oh, hallelujah. Oh, my God.
What would happen?
Oh, my goodness.
What would happen if all the churches were involved in Souls to the Polls on that Sunday? You see, so now, because it's not enough for one or two churches. The challenge for us, and I'll be quick, the challenge for us is the black church lost the essence and the spirit of who we were. And we fell into something we call, it's a Europeanized version of name it and claim it prosperity gospel that taught us that our responsibility was to help people get rich and wealthy on a flim, right? And we know that that did not work. It's the name and claim it. It's the whole prosperity gospel. And what happened to us is we began to look for cheap success as opposed to earned success. And we lost our sense of collective potency. I've closed on this. I have a philosophy of the battleship versus the cruise ship. Black churches learn to entertain rather than empower. And so we start entertaining to attract members rather than empowering people to be warriors. Battleships train fighters. And we used to sing, we are soldiers in the army. When was the last time you heard that song?
Long time.
Because we don't have soldiers anymore.
Yeah.
We have church members who are on a cruise ship for entertainment and vacation, and battleships train people for fighting and vocation. Cruise ships make the owner rich. Battleships empower people not even on the ship.
All right.
And so I hope, Chairwoman, that to answer some of the question, enlightenment, empowerment, and engagement. So if the church you're in is not doing those two things, you're on a cruise ship.
All right. All right. And they're going to blow those up. Okay? If we ain't careful. Representative Simmons, as a freshman, okay, I know you had one thought when you was coming in, okay? Now you done sat in the chair, all right? Plus, I want y'all to know Representative Simmons started the Labor Caucus because she felt that that was important, okay? So now here Freshie comes in and starts a caucus that she saw value. So it's because you in the real fight, what I call our blue-collar workers, okay? Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing and what you believe our message should be to help things get better.
Thank you for that question. And I think this conversation I have all the time with people, politics is personal and politics is local. People are inspired and feel compelled to use their voice when things matter to them. And I've always said labor unions, we're having conversations with working people every day. We know what people care about. People want to be able to have a good job. They want to be able to take care of their family. They want to be able to afford to live. They want to be able to retire with dignity. And when our conversations focus on that, especially as Democrats, because I think all of us up here are Democrats, it really helps move the issue forward. What has happened is, and I say this about the other side, they've done a very good job of being able to throw flares and distractions and getting us off message because they don't have anything to offer anybody. You can look at, the bills that we voted out of session this year. We passed how many tax cuts for Elon Musk? Like
Too many.
We did a lot of work, and I say we as the legislature on the behalf of people who care nothing about our communities. They extract labor, they siphon resources, and they do very little to help us in any way. And so I think right now we're seeing kind of this uprising and people realizing, I work really hard. Why is there so much month at the end of my money? Why am I not able to make it on what I'm earning? Why is one job not enough? And, like I said, I think it's time for us to be able to kind of stand up and raise our hand and say, let me point out the issue, but also let me help you find a solution. The reason you're suffering is because the minimum wage hasn't moved in this state in decades. You don't have a pension that you can retire with, and you probably have a 401k where somebody's playing with your money in the stock market. Being able to have those real conversations in real ways and giving people the understanding of why somebody is so invested in making you work hard for so little is really important right now. And so I'm excited, about the people that are running for office right now. I see Tyler in the audience who's very young. He looks like my son who's 18 and in college. And we have my other colleague here that's running for governor. We have people who are worker focused and people focused. And as black folks, we're going to be at the bottom of every system. So if the economy is suffering, we're suffering. What do they say? America catches a cold and Black America catches the flu. And right now, we got cancer and we're sick and we ain't doing very well. And so we got a lot of work to do.
So we real sick. Okay. All right. Representative Ward Johnson, let's bring it to the district level, okay? Because we know that our communities are needy, okay? And when they see you, they want you to do certain things, right? Okay? So talk to us about what you're feeling now in terms of this campaign, in terms of your first year, and the things that you want folks to know.
Yes, our freshman year was very aggressive. We were all fighting, but I wanted to make sure that our communities were never forgotten. District 139 is a very diverse district. However, what my priorities were to make our neighborhoods stronger and safer. So to build up our infrastructure. We have an issue with flooding, and we also have an issue with our mud districts having clean water. Some people take that for granted, but we have to understand that there's an attack on our communities. Harris County is the #1 place where black women are dying after giving birth. And now it's our infants are dying as well. I did have a bill that dealt with black women mortality and morbidity. I got it out of the House, but it died in the Senate because they wanted me to take the word black out of it. The attack of DEI is what I have been screaming. So they want to take the word black, but it's black women who are dying. Our communities need to be heard. Our communities need to be able to have a voice down there that's going to go down there and fight for them. Church is where we would come together. We would come together to have these conversations. How can we help our communities together? How can we work together? It takes a collaboration. And that's what I was wanting to do, the purpose of coming out and have conversations. Now is the time that we get together so we can draft bills before we go into legislation. Because once we're down there drafting bills, everything is moving so fast. You only have 140 days to get all of this done. Now it's time when I want you to come and have these conversations like this. For you who showed up, the decision are made by people who showed up. It's a sacrifice. I know everybody has something to do on a Sunday night, but this is important. We are in dire straits. They are trying to take our representation from us. They're trying to take our voice from us and our communities from us.
Thank you for that, Representative. Thank you for that. Thank you. You know, Representative Reynolds, you've been around 16 years, okay? Was there any good times? Or we all been struggling? Talk to us about the good times and why things work and why they're not working now.
There were better times. And I say that to say we're now more hyper-partisan than we've ever been. And when I first entered the legislature, it wasn't quite as bad because it was more of a balance. And in the state of Texas, we generally worked in a more bipartisan fashion. So that bill that Representative Ward Johnson was just talking about would not have been such an issue. Now, because of the hard shift of the right with Trump at the behest, everything is a real litmus test. And if you have a Republican and they vote in favor of the bill that was necessary to save black women's lives, then they're going to be targeted because now they're supporting DEI. Right? So there were times when things were better. And I'll be honest with you. Since Barack Obama was elected in 2008, they've been on a mission to take their country back. And a lot of it is backlash from President Obama. Look at what we just saw a week ago. We saw our former president and the first lady, amazing Michelle Obama, depicted as apes. And the president allowed that to happen. And other people, finally, a few of them said a few things, but a part of the problem is a lot of the Republicans are complicit. What did Dr. King said, silence is complicity. Well, a lot of them are afraid to speak against anything he says. So right now we have a governor that's bowing to him. That's why we had the racial redistricting. That's why we got vouchers. That's why we have an extreme abortion ban. That's why we have voter suppression, ending critical race theory. I mean, this so much happened, but it wasn't always like this. There used to be more consensus. There used to be more decorum. There used to be what we call statesmanship, where you do what's best for Texans. Now we're doing what's best for MAGA and Project 2025. So hopefully, prayerfully, with your help in November, we'll level set that so that we can get a new governor and we can change a lot of the things that have happened. And I'm hoping and praying that we get a first African-American Speaker of the House. We've never had one. Sophronia Thompson, who would have been here, but she had maybe I think a little bit on the weather. She has been almost the longest serving member of the Texas House of Representatives. Only second to one person.
54 years.
She could be if we get the majority, she could be the next speaker. We've never had a female. We've never had an African American. We can do both next November if you guys help us.
Thank you, Representative Reynolds. And that gets me back to Bishop Dixon. Bishop Dixon, and I'm going to have a little straight talk with you, sir. Okay? You know, people think all pastors are unified. Okay? They think that. Like they think all black folks think alike, right? People think that. But we know that everybody ain't on the same page, okay? How can we get our pastoral group to move away from thinking we all should think alike and be alike? Because there's some Republican black pastors, right? But we create a unity of purpose that, you know, I tell my staff all the time, I say, some people like to go downtown on 35, some like to take 281, some like to take 10. I say, but what's the goal? To get downtown. Okay, it's okay to be different. So talk to us about how we possibly can make that shift.
Thank you. I think we have to do something that I picked up as Rep. Johnson was speaking, and that is we need a unifying agenda. We must have a unifying agenda and a moral agenda, a cultural agenda, and a social agenda that we all agree to, because there are some things we agree on whether you are Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal. That's just right. And sometimes things get packaged in partisan clothing, and then it keeps people away. The other piece is, and I like this idea about talking to the church about it, because if the issues you mentioned right here, infant mortality rate, who's going to deny those numbers? Who's going to deny the numbers that more black women are dying in childbirth, right? So we need to establish a very codified agenda that specifies here are the issues. When you talk about DEI, and you talk about the fact that 15 million women-owned and minority-owned businesses have been taken out of the HUB program, who's going to deny that that's a problem? That's a huge, that's what just happened with Abbott's executive order taking minority-owned and women-owned businesses out of the HUB program. 15 million businesses. Every black church knows that those are their members. So we put those things on a clear agenda. Black erasure with DEI is another issue that we can all unify on. Think about this. Texas's budget is what, $174 billion a year?
$258 billion
Two-
biannual.
Okay, biannual, 258 billion, say billion. And blacks have never had 1% of the contracts. Think about that. And then with less than 1% of the contracts, you still take us out the HUB program, as if the playing field was close to being level. The program was started in order to level the program for historic inadequate. So here's my point. We need an agenda that we unite on, and then we need an assignment, which means now an assignment comes with an action plan. The assignment is organize and mobilize your own congregation. And then the action item is we got to take our complaints to where the power is. I'm telling us, brothers and sisters, we're not going to get this done through legislation unless there's agitation.
Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Please hear me. Legislation has to be supported by agitation. And our challenge is we want to have conversations without any agitation. And we can have a million of these conversations, but until we demonstrate some agitation, it's not costing them anything to hurt us.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm hopeful that we can get the black church on board with that. And the pastors who won't go with the program ought not have another black member left.
Ah, okay, okay.
If you're taking in black tithes and offerings,
Yeah.
you ought to be about the black agenda.
That's right.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. When was the last time, don't raise your hand, when was the last time your pastor organized or went with us to Austin to protest? If your pastor don't show up for the fight for you, where the fight is, he might not be the shepherd you think. Because real shepherds smell like sheep.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
All right. wait a minute. I got the young lady over here saying, yeah, yeah. Because this evening, y'all, we want to come up with solutions. We want to stop the conversation and add the agitation and the strategies. We want to leave with that this evening. Okay. So what time is it? I want to make sure we get questions in because I think that's critical. And then 5 to 6? 5:56. Okay, we got about 5 or 10 more minutes of the panel. Then I want us to get into some solutions, okay, and recommendations. You got legislators here, y'all, okay? And we want to leave, and you know, it ain't about us. It's about the people power now, okay? So, Rep. Simmons, you know, again, next session you won't be a freshman, right? So that means you have a little knowledge, okay? You heard what Bishop Dixon said, all right? Talk to us about what you can do next session in terms of making some of this happen.
I mean, there's a lot of work to be done on every level, and so a lot of it starts with conversations. I have so many conversations with my constituents, with friends and families who really don't understand how their local government works around them. You know, the presidential election, Congress sometimes takes up a lot of, you know, air out of the room.
Rep. Simmons, I want to stop you on there for a sec now. Bishop just said we got too many conversations. Should it be education instead of conversation?
It needs to be a little education.
Okay.
If I ask somebody, I'm not going to put y'all on the spot. If I ask y'all right now, who's your school board trustee? Who's your state legislator? Who's your state representative? Who's your state senator? Who's your county commissioner? And what does the county commissioner do? What does the county judge do? Because they don't preside over cases. They're the county executive. They're like the county mayor. Like, so many of those conversations are not having, and there's an educational element, and it's not for me to put you on the spot and make you feel bad, because all of this stuff is complicated and wonky, but you have to understand how it works together. I always talk about school funding and public schools as an example of that, because it's a great example of from the bottom all the way to the top. Now, we in the legislature, we write laws about, you know, what schools can teach and how big the buildings can be, and if the wheelchair ramps can go on this side versus that side. And we do the budget. I'm on appropriations. We give the money over to the public ed committee and we let them dole it out to the K through 12 public schools, right? But then you have a school board trustee in your district that makes decisions directly about your schools in that district. They hire the superintendent. And then you have the city that has to figure out the tax mechanism and scheme to make sure those schools are funded and property taxes going to your county. It all sounds like really wonky stuff, but you have to understand that at kind of a fundamental, foundational level so you can know why it's important to go in the booth and finish that entire ballot. Because we don't talk about that undervote, right? We go in there and we flip through them first 3 pages, and then it's like, oh, Lord, that's 100 judges on here, but you have to know. I had to have a conversation with one of my friends who was like, now, I don't want to vote for no DA because they prosecute our people. I said, let me tell you something. That is true. That's true. They prosecute, but guess what? They have other things to do. We have a district attorney, Sean Tier, in Harris County right now. You know what he and one of our law enforcement officials, Smokey, did? They had a second chance job fair in my district. So yeah, you got folks that they, can put you in jail if you commit a crime, but you also got folks who are in charge of putting people away, also making sure when those people come out that they are good in our community and they can make something of themselves.
So
there's a lot of work to be done.
They're not talking about
They
prevention.
don't talk about that.
They mad with the brother because he's doing his job. Okay.
So that's part of that educational aspect that we have to do. I want to talk to y'all when y'all come to Austin, but I got to teach y'all how to lobby. I got to teach y'all how to come to a committee hearing and testify on a bill like Charlene's so we can get that black maternal mortality health bill out of committee.
Thank you for
and
that.
on the floor.
Thank you for that, Representative. Bishop Dixon, you was looking eager over here, saying, I got to talk about that one.
Well, no, I think everything that Lauren just shared is look, I'm sorry, I don't.
That's okay. We casual this evening. We family.
But here's what I want to push you all to do. I want to push you all to help us to establish a codified agenda. Like, here are bills we need to be pushing for the next session. And if you all will put that together in collaboration with community leaders so we can socialize it amongst our churches and our community, and let's educate people on these issues. And then I will work to get my colleagues to say, let's mobilize and agitate around these issues and begin before the session starts. Like, I mean, we can do some things. I'm talking about, I don't want to talk too much on social media. We can create some agitation and some interest and some attention before the session begins, so that when the session starts, we already have put fear and trembling into people. And I'm going to say this. We also got to stop funding people who are building and managing the plantation.
That's right. That's right.
Which
That's
means we got to listen. We got to put together a list of people who are in business, who we support every day, who are also funding MAGA.
right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, y'all
That's
got
true.
quiet on me now.
That's true. That's true.
It seems oxymoronic to me. We have to know, when you talk about the Tea Party becoming MAGA, that's not just an entity, those are people. Those are people who are funding that machinery against us, and we're in their restaurants, we're buying their furniture, we're buying their products, and smiling about it.
Right, right.
Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
When I talk about agitation, I'm not just talking about a conversation. I'm saying we got to stop funding the people who are funding our backwards and our reversals. So I'm hopeful that we can get that agenda.
Absolutely.
And the sooner we can get an agenda, and it doesn't have to be 50 things. We need an agenda of a strong 10 things that everybody in our community knows. These are 10 things we're going to push for all together, and let everybody sign on the dotted line. Let's get 200 pastors to sign on the dotted line. We stand for these things. Get church members to sign. We support these 10 things. And then ask businesses, do y'all support us on these 10 things? Because if your business don't support us on these 10 things, guess what? We ain't shopping with you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Are y'all following me?
Yes,
So we have
yes.
a
That's good.
detailed
That's good.
strategy
Yeah.
that all of us can pull our community together. That's when I say an agenda, I mean a real clear agenda.
Yes.
So, are you running for office? You support these 10 things? If you don't support these 10 things, you ain't getting our vote.
Yeah.
We got to learn to be squeaky wheels. Squeaky wheels get the oil, and we've been rusty for a long time.
And hold people accountable.
Yeah.
But
Right,
guess
right.
what? I said we start. We're going to resolve some issues. You got the Texas Democratic Party here, okay? You got legislators here. We got our faith-based community here.
And
we
we
got
got
our
the
community
community,
people.
the
So we
community.
got all the elements, okay? So we're going to take this last panel deal, then we're going to get into some solutions, okay? And questions and solutions. So Representative Ward Johnson, okay? You've heard the folks, all right? We're talking about an agenda, okay? Let's take your district for a second, 139, that's been bumbled and shumbled and everything else. What's your agenda in terms of what you see happening?
Listen to the community. The community needs, they're asking for jobs. When I go out, I've been campaigning for 3 years, because before this I was on the board for Houston Community College, and education was is my priority. It's what I love to do. And one of the educational things was the Civics 101 class that Rain Edmond was putting on, so people would know what the different levels of government were, because people were not aware of what their government was supposed to do and what level you're supposed to get certain services for. So you have to understand what services that you are going to get. But coming up to community meetings, you have to show up. We get that agenda by knowing what your concerns are. District 139 has 200,000 people in it. But how many people are in here today? We have to show up, talk to us, communicate us, have a conversation with us so we can get with that agenda. I know we need jobs, we need better health care, access to better health care. Our seniors are having issues with prescription drug medicines, their utility bills, putting food on the table. And if you live in a senior facility they normally have problems with their elevators going out. And it seems like nobody cares of the issues that they have to call the fire department to come and take them down those stairs. That's taking a fire truck out of commission, that they can't go get a fire out. Clean water, flooding in our area. A lot of us are having a hard time paying for flood insurance, paying for homeowners insurance. So when a disaster happens, what do? But education is another thing. Having our quality schools, our schools in the inner city are under attack. And when the schools fails, the neighborhood goes down. We have got to help our neighborhood schools. Our schools are hurting our kids right now. The kids, that the enrollment is low, ICE is coming after them. They need more wraparound services. Even the teachers are in a hostile working environment. The kid to come to school, and the next day the teacher is not there. That's reality. This is reality that we need to face. But we don't need the shade tree, person out there complaining. Come be a part of the solution and help us. We have to collaborate. We have to collaborate with people, with communities like Collaborative Voices. We need to collaborate to see what issues that we can help you get. But that agenda has to do with putting the people first, understanding what your community needs, and how we can bring that to fruition. And we have to collaborate together.
So what I heard
Different
is
levels of
putting
government.
the people first. Mr. Gibson talked about the plan. Lauren talked about educating. Representative Reynolds, you're going to wrap this panel up on this, and then we'll go to the question. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, the panel has given some great insight, and I think that we understand the marching orders. I mean, we understand our assignment, and I think, Chairwoman, the real task is for us not just do it in theory, but in practice, and to execute and implement it. So I'm really encouraged that we're having this conversation right now, but I'm even more determined that we will be the change, and we will make sure that all of us commit to the solution. We already know what the problems are. The problem's been identified. How are we going to identify and correct the problem? And that is with the solution. And so I believe that we understand, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. And I want you all to hold us accountable, but we need to hold you all accountable. Amen. And that means that we need to all be a part of the village and the team. Together, everyone achieves more by understanding you don't have to have a title, you don't have to have a position, but you were called at such a time as this. To whom much is given, what? Much is required. Yeah. So we understand that we've been blessed, and we have to be a blessing. Just like we stand on the shoulders who came before us as we celebrate Black History Month, shame on us if on our watch we allow the oppressor to take us back to the situation that our ancestors had fought, bled, and died for. So my charge is that we will leave here empowered to be a part of the solution and say that we're going to register people to vote, but we're going to knock on doors, make phone calls, make sure that they get out to vote, and that we hold and elect people that care about our issues in our community becomes the issues that we've talked about today. So that is the challenge to you all. Dr. King said, I can't say it no better than he said, I'll leave with this. Life's most urgent and persistent question is, what are you doing for others? What are you doing?
What are you doing for others?
Not what did Big Mama do, and not what did Rosa Parks do and Fannie Lou Hamer. What are you? You is where we look in the mirror and point to ourselves. What are you doing for others? Not for yourself, but what are you doing for others? Meaning, what are you doing for the least of them? I think that is the thing that we all have to answer that call and be a part of the solution.
Powerful, powerful.
Let me do this before you move on. I do want to recognize, I see Attorney Brown with the Texas Black Coalition. I see Mr. Alan Provost with Ms. T's office. I see Sean Simmons, the Regional Director for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. And I have to give respect to my predecessor, the Honorable Jarvis Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad you know those
we
people
also
because
have
I
The
don't.
Wesley Acres Homes, Jarvis Johnson.
All right,
West
okay.
West Elementary.
All right. This young lady been having her card up. Stand up, young lady.
I just wanted to ask, first of all, thank you all for I know I deal with all the time that because you're at every single event. I wanted to ask, is there any capacity for your policy director to hold teaching in between sessions to teach community on how to write laws and how to actually watch the girls during the LED's website? Just to kind of help us be more proactive in making sure that those bills are
We can do that for sure.
So in my district, we created a district advisory council, and it's new, getting off the ground. We meet quarterly, but part of that work, and we talk about, and I've heard Senator Cook talk about this before, like the idea of co-governance, but it's really just making sure that, like, especially when we're in session, our ears are to the ground and we know what's going on. Nobody knows our issues better than us. and being able to channel that energy and find out what are some better solutions, because sometimes it's a bill, but sometimes it also can be a phone call to a state agency like Health and Human Services and say, hey, I've been hearing about this issue in my community. How can we get that taken care of?
Thank you. You know, I think one of the things I'm hearing too, let's stop being victims and become victors
Yes.
in all of this, okay? So here's this statement and then some questions here. I see disjointed strategy, governmental, legislative, executive, and judicial. I agree. Second, and simultaneously and boycott businesses supporting anti-black agendas. Democrats must act like Democrats. And so we have to ask ourselves, and nobody has to say a word, is there any Democrats in the house? All right. All right. Now, here's the situation. Any other questions?
My question might be a little sticky, but tapping the pulse of a community, is it feasible? There are several, I'm speaking to Project 2025. Is it feasible to challenge several rather than starting an agenda from the very beginning? I'm just asking, is that feasible? Is it feasible with Project 2025, even on the first page, before you even get to the other pages, is it feasible as you're generating, and I'm not asking you to ask specifically, is it feasible to take that Project 25 and find certain items that you want to challenge rather than beginning an agenda from zero?
Thank you for the question. Here's what I'm suggesting. Like, I've been to a lot of forums, and as Reno says, we know the problems, right? And we've got, 200 problems. But we need to identify 10 solid issues. Am I right, Jarvis? Look, listen, y'all, this is not rocket science. We need to identify 10 solid issues and make that our agenda for the next legislative session. Right. You can't pass 200 bills. You put 10 on the table based on 10 issues and hope you get 5. That's progress, because you cannot eat an elephant all at once. Right now, we don't have an agenda. If we, and the brain power is right here. We got leaders here. We need a two-day retreat, standstill, where we bring people into conversation, write up the plan. Smart people are in this room, and the others, to write up the issues under education. Write up the issue, what's under health care, what comes under minimum wage, right? What are our 10 issues? And then here's our biggest issue. Can I be honest with y'all? We got to stop thinking we could do this by ourselves. And get over what you don't like about me. All of that nonsense has to be put out. Check the egos at the door. Our biggest issue is disunity. Okay, y'all don't want to say amen. I'm just telling you, we're still mad at somebody for something 10 years ago. I don't like Dixon because I think he loves the camera. I don't like Alan because Alan's over there. And I don't like Ron. All that. If I were at this pastor's church, I'd say what I feel like saying. All of that is nonsense. Y'all, the ship is sinking. The biggest deal when the Titanic sunk, there were people partying while they were sinking because they didn't know the ship was going down. We're still dancing and partying while we're drowning. And I'm saying to all of us, listen, y'all, and I'm closing on this, I promise. I'm tired of us acting like we don't know the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is we are still in silos. I don't want to come to your meeting. You don't want to come to my meeting because I don't want you to get the credit. If the airplane crashes and you in first class, you die too. So please, let's understand we're on a vessel that's sinking. I want to set a date, like by March 21st. We should have March 21st is a Saturday. we should be planning to come together with some issues that we've discussed, put them before the people. Here are the issues that we'll talk about for the next session, and start really crafting an agenda around those, and then strategize how to educate. It's education and mobilization around that, and agitation around those, and make sure that other people can sign up to be with us or not with us. And then we have a line of clear demarcation. If you're not for us, you're against us. We ain't voting for you anymore, and we ain't spending our money with your business. It ain't that hard. It's not complicated to me.
I think that's so right. And now that we have Shay here, the vice chair of the Texas Democratic Party, the bishop has just given a call to action. Yes.
Bishop, can we do it March 28th? Because March 21st is your county convention date. No, I'm just saying. But on March 21st is a date that you should know, because all across Texas, if you voted in the Democratic primary, that's our county convention date, and we'll be electing delegates to go to the state convention. So March 3rd, you're going to elect people, but on March 21st, Democrats are going to be having county conventions. So no matter what county you live in, right, Representative Hinojosa, whether you live in Blanco County, Dallas County, Kaufman County, all across the state, March 21st is an important date. And that's also part of that
Shay.
stuff.
We got that. We got that.
March 21st.
The date, he's just saying it needs to happen.
Sure. But I want to throw out that day for people listening on stream.
I got it.
Okay.
But what we want is the party to lead the charge. And I'm committed as the chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. We're going to join you in that.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. And here's another way that it's important. Like you talked about the 200 issues. The Texas Democratic Party has a huge platform. It's overwhelming. But let me tell you, I promise you, any issue that's important to you, you can bring it to our platform, and I promise you, we are the party that can meet that need. I often get asked to go to career days, right, in my job, my non-democratic job, and people go in and tell the kids what they do. But, when I go in, I say, what do you want to be? And I can find you a job in Dallas County. Because if you want to be a lawyer, guess what? We have lawyers in Dallas County. You want to be a doctor? We hired a medical examiner. That's Dallas County.
So, Shay.
Yes.
Shay.
We got the agenda. I am here to help. We are here to take charge.
I want you to answer my question now, though. So the party would help us put it together.
Yes.
Provide resources.
Yes, I'm not the chair, but I will work my best as the vice chair.
We're going to agitate and help the chair feel we need to be a line item.
Yes.
Okay? And bring the subject matter experts.
Yes.
Okay? So we got Bishop Dixon, who said he could bring 200 preachers to the table.
Yes.
Okay? You got at least a third of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus here saying we're going to come to the table. And now we got the party. So the question is, will the people be there?
Yes.
Will the people be there? You say it's too late? What the date? Okay.
And
we're going to put it out there.
Chair, and we have the D9, one of the D9s here too.
The D9. Okay? So we getting commitments. Shelley, you writing these commitments down? Because I like to hold people accountable. We can't just be blowing in the wind. Okay? Thank you, Shay.
Yes. Whose mic did I steal? Yes, Bishop Dixon. There you go.
All right. So that's one piece. That's one step up this ladder. Okay? Now, we know the ladder is tall, but the one step is to sit down and develop our strategic plan. Okay. Now, let's get through some more questions. What time is it? Because I want to respect people's time. Okay. Now, Tanya asked a question. What is your suggestion to the ignorance among the common persons to help them to understand what the root causes and answers, solutions for real issues? You know what I'll say? I'm going to answer that question. Let's wait till March 28th. When we come together, because guess what? It ain't my solution or just a few solutions. It's all of our solutions because everybody got some ideas. Bishop Dixon's going to answer your question.
Here's my thing. Let's say our date is March 28th. That we come back and we have a subject matter expert with the agenda. Then we've got a document that we can educate people on. Because here I promise you, these 10 issues are going to affect most of our people. Okay? We bring them into rooms like this. And now every church can distribute it. It's a common. Project 2025 was brilliant. Okay?
And they planned it over time.
They planned it over time.
Yes,
It
they
didn't
did.
get big all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, y'all, let's not overcomplicate this. If we develop a 10 agenda, a 10 item agenda, 10 issue agenda, and all of us carrying it around, and then said that a forum on these issues is going to take place in your neighborhood on this day. And we got the Divine Nine, and we got the churches, we got the elected officials, we got the civic club leaders, we got all of us all together. Say together, please, together.
Together.
Very, very important. Then now people are going to get educated. By the way, the reason we can't combat MAGA now is because we don't have a movement. Come on, say MAGA.
MAGA.
Is a movement.
Movement.
And movements are generated by a spirit, not by enlightenment. That's why there are folks following MAGA who can't even explain the agenda. They just follow the movement because the spirit is compelling. We don't have a movement. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
We're waiting on one campaign at a time.
Yes.
I'm talking about a movement based on an agenda. Once you get that movement going, people start showing up at the meetings. You want to beg them to come. It's the spirit of a movement. And then finally, let me say this. Don't wait to, I just mentioned the Souls to the Polls effort. If we showed up with 1,000 people, the city would start buzzing because that's movement energy. And our challenge, though, is we got to say, don't say that's Dixon's Souls to the Polls. We got to say it's our Souls to the Polls. And we're showing up. Barbara Arnwine is coming with a tour bus from Chicago with 20 or 30 people that'll be for 10 days from the 17th to the 27th doing GOTV in our communities. They're coming to help us motivate people to stir up Houston about going to vote. We ought to all show up. By the way, we have a press conference about that tomorrow at 12 noon. If y'all off, come be a part. And then Sunday, Sunday, Edna Griggs and a bunch of folks, we're all coming together for Souls to the Polls. Don't say it's just about Acres Homes. It's just about community of faith. It's just about Dixon. All of us on the same ship that's about to sing.
That's right. That's
Are
right.
y'all with me? So
We're with you.
that's how we generate
We're with
movement
you.
energy, and that's how we do what you're talking about.
All right, we're going to answer 3 more questions.
Sorry, I'm too long.
And then we're going to give a summary, all right? And then I'm going to let some of the candidates speak, right? And then y'all can stay afterwards and talk with folks individually. But I can say this, we left with what? A commitment, all right, from the Texas Democratic Party, the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, and one of the leaders in our faith-based community. And some of you, I ain't going to say all, some of you in this room who say y'all going to join in. That's a winner. What you think, Bishop? That's a winner.
Like Miss Edna
That's a
Griggs
winner.
over there.
That's a winner. Okay, 3 questions left. In order to attack the 2025 agenda, you need the Justice Department. Since you don't have it, must file lawsuits, have an active voting protection strategy to combat voter suppression. And I concur. We do have law. The League of Defense has come in and said they will come in and help. All right? We got some intelligent lawyers here in Texas. And I know some is $450 an hour, but sometimes you got to pay to play, right? So then we can raise some money to pay some of our top lawyers. So we can do that. And I think across the country, there has been a lot of successes. So I think this suggestion is awesome, and that needs to be one of the strategies that we have in place, using the legal system. Yeah, like the Orange Man has done for years, right? Absolutely. Keep you in court, try to break you, and then you give up. Okay? Now, this other question, this is Dr. Kathy. Who's Dr. Kathy? Okay. wants to stand up to ask a solution. Come on, Dr. Kathy. Dr. Kathy, thank you. Thank you. And I think one of the overall arching ideas that we talked about was inclusion. I think we said what? The people. It ain't us. We're a tool. It's the people who's going to come up with what's needed. So we're with you all the way. And so I got one more, huh? One more, okay? As students active in our NAACP chapter at our university, how can we work to incorporate and educate our student body and the younger generation to be more proactive in the fight for our democracy? That's a great question.
That's such a good question. Oh my goodness. So I think it's the conversation that we have with people about politics being personal, and we all say this: if you're not into politics, it's unfortunate because politics is into you. College students is a great example because the the four of us make a lot of decisions. We take a lot of votes about what happens with university, from funding to what your professors can teach. And so helping your friends, and you're already doing the right thing by being here, but helping your friends, family members understand that there are people like us who are somewhere else making decisions about your everyday life, how much financial aid you can get, if you can get financial aid, what type of degrees. I'm a UT alum. What they're doing to my university, my alma mater, is awful. Like, they're literally closing the department where I got my education from. And so helping people understand just how important it is to have an active voice, because again, you are a taxpayer. In Texas, we don't have an income tax. You know how we fund everything here? Through sales tax. So if you're a consumer, that means you're a taxpayer. And right now, you are not getting a return on your investment. It's almost like taxation without representation.
All right, we got closing remarks. Bishop Dixon got privy because this is his spot.
Yeah, I just want to say about the NACP, who both right. So, first of all, thank you.
Two pretty young girls, too.
Give them a hand.
Yeah.
Give them a hand. We need y'all on a church tour talking to young adults about why they need to be a part of the movement. There's a great generational disconnect, as you know, right? And we need you to help us with the languaging, the messaging, so we can reach more young adults. You all going into churches like politicians do, speaking, you can start here, right? I promise you the pastor will say yes. But start and take that message, your message on the road. We need more young adults, more college age and 25, those young adults involved in the movement. And then finally, find your voice, because we need y'all's voices out in the public now more than ever, all right?
Thank you, Bishop. We're going to have closing remarks. We're going to start with Representative Reynolds with closing remarks, and then we're going to tell everybody to keep it to 30 seconds.
I just want to say again, we understand that this is the first fierce urgency of now, and we are called for a time such as this. And I hope that everyone will understand their assignment and everyone will be engaged so that we can help save our democracy. Thank you.
Representative Simmons?
It's a group project, y'all. We got to work together. That's it.
I'm State Representative Charlene Ward Johnson, and I'm running for re-election. Early voting starts on Tuesday, February the 17th. February the 17th is Fat Tuesday, so I need y'all to zydeco up to the polls, so to the polls on Sunday, but tell 10 people, call them, have you voted? I need you to vote. We need to vote. Your voting is your power.
Bishop Dixon?
With God on our side, with God on our side, we are the majority. Do not let the other side intimidate us thinking that we are in the minority. We are in the majority. And don't forget this, without economics, you can't do politics.
Right.
So we've got to have an economic agenda for economic empowerment because we've got to be able to support and fund our own freedom.
That's correct. Awesome. Give the panel a hand. Give the panel a hand. But we ain't finished yet. Gina, come on up here. I said I was going to let them say, and then they're going to get 45 seconds. Now, Gina, I got a question for you too, okay? Here's the question. We know, as the bishop said, we can't do this by ourselves. We need our brown brothers and sisters. Where they going to be at in this race, and why are you running for governor? You got a minute.
Thank you, Barbara. Let me first say how much I appreciate this congregation. When we broke quorum in 2021, and I was proud to be the organizer of that. I'm going to go ahead and own it since I got punished for it. Yes, it was me. Your bishop was the leader that kept us going. Myself, Barbara Gervin Hawkins, Ron Reynolds, we were there in 2020. Oh, and Jarvis Johnson, that's right. My classmate, Jarvis Johnson. And so thank you. This church has been a leader in civil rights for a long, long time. Let me tell you what they're about to do. They just tweeted the guy who passed the bill to target black and brown congressional districts in Houston and across the state so they could gain 5 more Republican seats. They just tweeted in the last 48 hours, they're coming back this next legislative session. You know why? They're coming back this next legislative session because Texas going to gain 4 more congressional seats because we're growing faster than everybody else in this country. And when that happens, they want to control the redistricting because if they do, then there cannot be Democratic control of Congress for a generation. If we don't flip this midterm election, and there cannot be Democratic control of the White House for a generation because congressional votes is electoral votes. It's the same, congressional seats, electoral votes. I tell you this because I don't care if you're not a Democrat or Republican, that means the race is rigged before we already get to vote. That is the power we have as Texans this midterm election. The polls show this is within reach. The people are winning all over this state. And in this county, you all have the power to flip this whole state. This whole state. So that is your power, and I urge you to vote. I'm Gina Hinojosa, and I'm running to be the next governor of Texas. Thank you.
All right. Representative Johnson, did you want to come and say a few words? You need 32 seconds?
Take 31. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I will tell you this. This panel has done a phenomenal job, a great job telling the right information. Let me just say this. I spoke to the Houston Chronicle the other day, and they asked a question. They said, how do the Democrats plan to help flip more seats in the state of Texas? And I said, when the Democratic Party starts speaking to the base of the Democratic Party. The foundation of the Democratic Party is the black vote. 87% of all black folk will vote Democratic, regardless. And until you start speaking to the base of the party, you will continue to hemorrhage voters. When you get your yearbook, what's the very first thing you look for in your yearbook? You look for yourself. If you're not in the picture, you're not interested. You're not interested. What is happening is we're not seeing ourselves in the picture. So therefore, we're going, I'm not interested. They're not speaking to me. And the reason why they're not speaking to me is why I'm not going to vote. That's why it's important that we put people in front of us that understand where we come from. You have to have empathy if you want to legislate for the people. If you don't feel what the people feel, then how do you plan on legislating? It's like Pastor. He can't stand in front of a congregation and tell y'all what he's feeling. And you supposed to feel, no. He has to feel what you feel. That is why our community must change. You have to have empathy in order to lead. Now, I am running for CD 29 because the Republicans did redistrict. And what they did do is take 2 black Democratic seats and combine them. They took the 9th and the 18th. We have the largest black population in the state of Texas, in the entire country, right here in Texas. And yet we're going to have underrepresentation, as we have been having. And I'm telling you, I'm running because when the devil thought they were going to be doing something evil, God turned it into good because he created an opportunity for us to pick that seat up. I've represented over 90% of this community as a city council member and the state representative. I brought back $2.1 billion to this community. I have repaved streets in Acres Homes. I have given Texas Southern its largest appropriation that it ever got, and I got Booker T. Washington $1 million. I can go on and on. But at the end of the day, when I get to Congress, I want to bring a new energy. Because that new energy they got, because it's always been said, if you don't respect me, then you obviously going to have to expect me. And some of that fofo and that fifth ward going to come together and they're going to see what it's really all about. I did it in the state house, in the state capitol, and I'm going to do it in the nation's capital. So I hope that you guys get out and vote. How you gave me? Pastor said 90 seconds.
You also got the fire hydrant in Garden City.
But it's important that we do get out and vote. But I will say this, I'll end with this. Bishop Dixon said it correctly. If we don't have an agenda, then we don't know where we're going. And we don't know what we're fighting for, and we'll continue to fight amongst one another. Because I want mine first. Now, when we have that agenda, guess what? There are going to be some things that have been left off. That's the sacrifice that we make, because you can't go and redo the whole house when you only got money for the bathroom. So exactly. You build it up. So we got to stop people going, well, y'all ain't did this, and we're going to vote y'all out. No, we got the agenda. We got the agenda. Jarvis Johnson, CD 29, please get out and vote. We can pick our seat up. We can make sure we got representation that understands what our needs are. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Whitney Jones-Moore, and I'm running for the Civil District Court 157. But if you live in Harris County, because people get confused, I know probably no one here, you can vote for me if you live in Harris County. That's not a districting, no. That is just the number of the court. This is Civil District Court, not criminal court. However, I have represented over 500 defendants. I care about people. You want a judge to care about people on the bench. I've had people stay in my home. I have dressed them. I have taken them to court. I still do that to this day, this week. Drove people to court, drove them back. The issue that we have is that we have a lot of judges sitting in these seats, especially the court that I'm running for, which is a court that is no limit on money damages, okay? They receive funds from large firms, and those are the people they respect in court. So you want to make sure you have people who, as Jarvis said, have empathy. I tell my clients all the time, do not hire anyone who does not relate to you. They cannot communicate to a prosecutor for you. So you need to make sure you have people who care about your issues that are in front of you. I'm not telling you I'm not going to be a fair judge. I'm going to be fair to everyone. But you have to understand the issues in order for you, exactly, in order for you to make good determinations that affect everyone, okay? Thank you. Whitney Jones-Moore, 157 Civil District Court, Harris County. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jimmy Brown. I'm running for the 270th Judicial District Court. I've listened to what has been said tonight, and I'm going to say what I believe is important, and that is this. It is not an issue of just electing a Democrat. You have to elect the right Democrats. We have a habit of voting for people who you know are incompetent. and then we endorse them, and somehow you would think it's going to change. It is not. I am running for the 270th, and I'm not going to comment on the judge. All I will say is this, is that the Houston Chronicle said this: that court needs to change. He's the change.
All right.
So I'm saying vote for me, Jimmy Brown, but I'm saying this, and I'm closing with this, because I'm also an elder. Yeah, you know. It's this. Any lawyer can follow the law. A good judge knows when not to.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Good evening, good evening. It is so good to be here. My name is Councilwoman Arnetta Murray from the city of Iowa Colony. I'm sorry? I'm sorry? So anyway, I wanted to say real quick, number one, you also know I'm an HISD teacher. She fought for us. Thank you, Lauren. You also know I'm in the union. But I'm also a counselor in Iowa Colony. I didn't realize I'm up for re-election. So let me say this. I love the dates that you have quoted and told us. But remember, May 2nd is elections for the local people as well, municipalities. We got to galvanize people at that time as well. We be so focused, and I love the congressman. I love all of y'all. But you cannot forget about local elections. That's where you really get the meat of the potatoes. So I'm telling you, around your new, because I'm always everywhere he's at. Am I lying? I'm everywhere where he's at, where they're at, because at the end of the day, Tanya, you know this, I am going to fight. I'm in the fight for my life in Brazoria County. Gina, I remember you because you know I'm a union member. You know, I vetted you. Remember that. So at the end of the day, Miss Murray does the work. I'm fighting for my life right now on council. I have a mega opponent that's coming hard. But guess what? I'm coming harder. So I want y'all to let you know that. Thank you. And I'm done. Thank you.
All right, here's a young man right here.
Good afternoon. I'll be really quick. My name is Tyler Smith. I'm running for Texas House District 138. I'm running to flip one of the most competitive seats here in Texas, not because it's easy, because the fight that we've been talking about today is worth fighting for. I appreciate y'all for this panel. I appreciate everyone for coming out. Hope to have whoever lives in House District 138 support come next November. Thank you.
Representative Charlie Ward and Bishop Dixon, we need y'all to close us out.
Right here. 12 noon. 12 noon.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of the conversations we need to have with each other. Thank you again for coming. Thank you for taking your time, and we need you to continue to come and talk with us. This community conversations, like I said, started in the church, and we just need to continue.
Bishop?
Touch somebody, tell her we're the seed, not the tree. So you've never seen a seed as large as the tree or a tree as small as the seed. We're the seed that grows the tree. On our energy alone, we can produce the tree that causes the change. In other words, there are thousands, by the hundreds of thousands of people out there waiting to feel the power of us. When we show up as a seed, we got the potency to multiply. And when you see that later, you'll say it started on a Sunday evening and a few of us came together. We were the seed. But when we go to Austin, when we protest, when we vote, when we flip Texas, when we save Harris County, because they're coming for Harris County with all they got. Because Harris County is the largest county in Texas. When we hold on to Texas and to the county and flip Texas, I promise you the energy from that movement is going to say, let's join the winners. Most people don't join something to make it win. They join it when they think it's winning already. So we got to create the wins so others will come along and be a part of the victory. Thank y'all so very much.
Thank y'all so much. That's the end of this, and the folks will be around, so if y'all want a personal chit-chat, this young lady right here.
Your contact information, your email. So
Can we thank those who view by streaming before we go?
Thank you.
Thank those who view by streaming. Give them a big hand, y'all. It's a big streaming audience. We appreciate all of them. All right? God bless.